We'll get everything going. I'm looking rough today.
Oh, no, you look good.
All right. I think we're live. We'll see. Make sure. Did you go to the postpartum hangout?
I didn't today, no.
I was bummed missing it. Okay. So I see that it's on here. Interesting. But it's not going live. So let me refresh the page. Oh, there it is. It is on there. So I'm going to pin it to the top so everybody can see it. Let me go to the other group and pin it there in the Birth Queens group. There we are. Hello, everyone. We are trying to, oh, it's not going live in Instagram again. Darn Instagram. Let me see what is happening. Why is Instagram so annoying? Okay, let me try one more time with Instagram. Let's see. All right, we're going to try it. I hope that's right. We'll get started in just a second, you guys, whoever's here. Oh, that is not wanting to let me paste it. Weird. All right, that is not working. Oh, there we go. All right, let's see if I can get it going on Instagram because that really matters. My poor mama's over there. I've been telling them all day I'm going live and the stinking thing won't work. So we'll see. We'll see if it works. Crossing my fingers. Hopefully. If not, we'll go over to Instagram.
Okay.
I'm hoping that, oh, it looks like it is. All right, I think it's working. Now I'm gonna pull it up on my phone so I can see comments. All right, let me go there because I don't want to hear it. I just want to be able to see if anybody has any questions. We probably won't take too many questions, you guys, and we're just going to kind of share because I know you guys are probably also tired as well. So I don't see it on Instagram yet. I see it over here, but I don't see it on Instagram. So we're just going to wait just a minute.
Okay.
Because I'm not seeing it go live everywhere. Interesting. Definitely want to make sure it's working before you start telling your story. All right, let's see. I think it worked. Would you even believe that I think the problem this whole time has been me? Oh my God. This entire time. Okay. Let me turn the volume down so I don't hear it. And this way I can see if anybody has any questions. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So excited to share your story. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to ask you some questions and then we'll kind of move through your story. I always love to ask you guys like how you found us, but I feel like maybe you found us through LeNay.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So I guess just start there. Maybe how you found LeNay.
Oh, sure. So after my first birth, which was pretty traumatic, I knew I wanted to go unmedicated. My allergist thought it would be more safe. So with doing that, I looked into finding a doula. So just doing some research, I first found LeNay, which she's amazing and awesome. So glad I found her. And then she recommended the 5-day to fearless birth workshop that you have. So that was like at the beginning of my pregnancy. I can't remember if that was October, maybe like
November.
Yeah.
I think we did one in September.
September, it might have even been.
And then again, yeah, November.
So I did that, and before that had looked at a few other courses, but once I did that, I knew that your course was the right one for me. Like I really loved that you had 6 unmedicated births yourself. Some of them were inductions, and then all of your experience as a labor and delivery nurse. That just really helped me to trust everything you said and all your advice. And just like the workshop too was so helpful to begin with. So that's how I found the course, and I'm so glad that I took it. It's very helpful.
I love that. For those of you guys who are watching and you don't know who LeNay is, I am so thankful. Well, LeNay found me. So LeNay is one of our team doulas we have inside of our community for our students and our members. And she is absolutely the most calming, precious, amazing person. I have two of the most incredible doulas ever on my team, and I love them so much. So LeNay brings so many of her clients to our classes because she's really passionate that you have to be educated as well as supported. So I love that about her as well. So why don't you kind of give everyone, you kind of alluded to the fact that you had, you kind of had a difficult journey up until this redemptive birth. So maybe you can give them kind of a short history there as well.
Sure. The birth with my son was just, I have a rare blood disorder. So at the time, I just didn't do enough education. I was induced for IUGR. So I didn't just prepare at all, really. I just trusted the doctors and nurses, and I just went in thinking like, oh, I don't know if I'll get an epidural, but probably, which I remember from your course, if you go in thinking that you most likely will for sure get one. But when he was born, he wasn't breathing. I ended up not breathing. He was in the NICU. I ended up having to go to ICU. It was just very scary. You never got like that golden hour. It was just traumatic. But I still knew I wanted more children for sure. And then I got pregnant 3 times and had 3 miscarriages. So I had a lot of anxiety because of that also. But the course like definitely helped me with those fears and anxieties. And
it's really important to me, and that's something that I tried to infuse throughout the classes, is just that mindset and mindfulness, and like pulling those fears and replacing them with truth. And birth is such a mental game. Pregnancy too. And I know my story. I've had 3 losses as well, and it's that pregnancy after loss is hard.
Yeah,
really hard. So I love that the mental aspect was also good for you as well. So coming into the courses, you've already said you had a lot of fear. And so as you went through the classes and you finished up the classes and you're getting closer to your birth, do you feel like you had more calmness, or do you feel like it was a daily like battle that you had to work with the fear?
I would say I definitely had a lot more calmness and way more confidence. Like before the course too, I was even unsure if I could do it without an epidural. I'm like, I don't know. And by the time I finished the course and was in the group, I felt very confident, and I had my birth plan. And, I knew that I couldn't plan everything, that I would maybe need a C-section, but I also tried to not focus on that. From another module, it was like, have a positive mindset. So I listened to positive birth stories, and I just envisioned, having an amazing birth, which I did end up having. So I just felt so much more prepared and calm. And I had a Christian hypnobirthing meditation, which, meditation is something you recommended. So I would listen to that at night. And I just really did a lot of mindfulness activities to help me get over those fears and anxieties.
Yeah, I did so much research and studying and preparation as I built the courses on mindfulness and mindset training. And it is truly amazing how much we can train our brain and how we can change what we are thinking. And that's one thing that I really am so passionate about, because what we tell ourselves really matters, and we can manifest that. Like the more we tell ourselves we can't, we won't. So that's why I love when you guys, like, you just have to constantly flip the script, tell yourself you can, believe that you can, and you do. And I love that so much. Okay, so do you feel like after you finished the classes that you knew, so my thing that I say all the time is, if you don't know your options, you don't have any. And I so passionate about that because I have seen thousands of births where women are just like, they have no clue what's happening. We're coming to them with interventions. We're coming to them with, constant decisions. And they're like, I don't know. What would you do? I don't know. What would you do? And so I'm super passionate about you guys knowing your options as much as I know. So do you feel like after you finished Calm Labor, Confident Birth that you knew your options?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm a nurse myself, but not in the labor and delivery field. So I feel like I really didn't know any of that when I had my son. But after the course, I felt like even the whole labor process and birth and pushing and the different medications they might offer, I felt very educated on all of that. And then I ended up getting induced. So I was hoping to not, but I did, which was fine. Took the induction, I did the workshop. Like I felt very educated on that and prepared, and I was doing all the things to prep my body beforehand, which I think helped a lot. So yeah, I definitely felt very like more prepared and educated.
Well, and that I'm glad you said that because that was one of my questions for you. Like, how did you feel about the community and having access to the bonus, like the extra workshops? Because a lot of people don't know that we have weekly workshops. You have all the workshop recordings and we have the weekly hangout. So what is your feel about having all that extra?
Well, that was so helpful too. We just having the community, being able to talk to people, or even like you can search in the group for different, you'd search a word and you can find different suggestions how to eat dates because I can't stand them, or any.
Yes, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, it was very helpful, and I watched a lot of the workshops.
That's one of the reasons I chose the platform that we moved everything over to, was because of that searchability, because that was really important to me, even for myself. And when I'm in a labor bat signal or we have a new student and they're asking a question, I will use that search myself to connect you guys with one another. I'm like, oh, I know there's another student who's in that city or is due in that month or whatever. So we connect you guys that way as well. So as far as you had a doula who happens to be one of our doulas. Did you feel like the labor bat signal was still beneficial for you?
I didn't actually end up using it.
Okay.
I'm sure it would have. I know it would have been, but having LeNay, I feel like she kind of was my.
She got you the private one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So someone's asking about the bat signal. I wanted to bring it up anyway, because we've started doing it with some of her clients anyway, because we have so many of her students in there. I couldn't remember if we did it with you or not, because it was like a weird situation. Like, do we do it with her clients or not? But we have some that we've been doing it. We've started doing them with her. So the labor bat signal is something we do with our students who are also in the membership. And if you join our classes, you get 30 days free in our membership, and then it's $19 a month. And that $19 includes the labor bat signal, which is virtual doula services. You get access to my two doulas and myself through our labor bat signal, which is a private messaging where you have a group messaging with me, LeNay, and Taylor. And Megan can tell you that having a doula is not a cheap option. So having a text messaging with two doulas and a labor nurse for $19 a month is a pretty good option. So for those of you guys who can't have an in-person doula, it's a really nice option. And we love it because if you're in the hospital being induced, if you are, if you're at your doctor's office and you're nervous, or you are, you just found out that hello, are you still there? My laptop went to sleep. Can you guys still see me? Okay. My laptop just went to sleep. If you go to the doctor's office and they're like, well, your blood pressure is up. We want to send you to the hospital for a sudden induction. you can jump into your labor bat signal. So it's just a really nice thing that we offer. We're really about relationship, which you know that as well, Megan. We do weekly hangouts inside of our membership with our pregnant mamas, and then we have weekly hangouts with our postpartum mamas as well. So community is really important to me. That's something I'm really passionate about. So, okay, so now let's talk about your birth story. So tell us about your induction.
So I ended up being induced at 40 weeks and 2 days. I thought for sure she would come before then because I was having contractions that week leading up. I had NSTs and I was having regular contractions 2 minutes apart one of the days. And then I had 3 membrane sweeps. I lost my mucus plug after the first one, but then they would go away. So, and they were never like super intense. So I ended up getting to the day of my induction. And prior to that, I had asked one of the doctors, because I have like a team of doctors, about if they had wireless monitoring in case I did end up needing to be induced. And he said that they did, and that would be no problem and that I could use it. So when I told the nurse about it, she kind of seemed annoyed. And I, normally I probably would have been like, oh, it's fine. But I feel like your course like gave me the empowerment to be like, oh, well, I want this, because I just remembered that this is my birth. And, for them, it's just a job. This is something that I'll remember forever. And I'm so glad that I did end up getting it, because I had a 30-hour induction and I was like moving, walking the halls. I wouldn't have been able to do all that had I not gotten it. So I just was happy that I got that. And then I was started on Pitocin. So I was at 3 centimeters before the induction even started. And then I was having regular contractions all day. They kept increasing the Pitocin, but the contractions weren't getting stronger. So I ended up maxing out on the Pitocin. So then the PM shift nurse suggested doing the Cook catheter and to take a break from the Pitocin that evening. So that's what I ended up doing. And then it was 4 a.m. the next night that the catheter came out, and I was at 5 centimeters. And then they started Pitocin again at 7. And once again, I was contracting, but they just weren't very intense. So then at 1 o'clock, I think it was, I maxed out again on Pitocin that day. And then I was only 5.5 centimeters, but they offered to break my water, which, to backtrack, they offered to break it before then too, when I was only at 3 centimeters. But I said no, because I knew from the course it was better to wait until active labor.
And what was their response to that?
They were good about it. Everyone was really great. They were fine with it. So I was a little nervous to have it broken, but I was kind of just running out of options at that point. And then once they did break it, that first contraction was really strong. And I was actually excited. Like, I remember, embrace the contractions and don't be scared of them, because fear can just slow your labor. So I was excited and just ready to meet my baby. Yeah. And so it was at 1, and then it just progressed pretty quickly from there. I ended up, LeNay was really helping me do different movements. She was having me take sips of water in between contractions. And then I went to the toilet, the dilation station, and then it got really intense. The nurse wanted me to get back to bed to check me, but I was just having a hard time getting off the toilet because they were so close together and so intense. So LeNay actually asked if she would check me on the toilet, which she did. And she said I was 8 centimeters. So I knew I was in transition. And I remember LeNay saying that this is the most intense it'll get, which was really helpful to hear. Yeah. But I knew I did have to get off the toilet because I didn't want to have my baby there. So I finally was able to get off, and I made it to the end of the bed, and I just kind of
Which I have a picture of. Oh. Do you want me to show it?
Oh, sure.
Okay. Hold on. Let me get there. There we go.
Yeah. So I made it there. And then my body just started pushing. It was the craziest thing. Like, it was so strange, but cool. And I remember the nurse asking, like, Megan, are you pushing? I'm like, I don't know, I think so. But I wasn't trying to. It's just so very cool. And then the nurse checked again and she said I was complete. And then at that point, she kept asking me to get on the bed. And I said that I would, but I wanted to stay on hands and knees. So then I forgot what it's called. That I think it's a cub, the blow up inflatable thing.
Oh, yeah.
So they put that on the bed so that I could stay on hands and knees. And I was laboring there for a little bit. And then my doctor came in and she asked to check me again. She said I was ready to push. And she said, I know you don't want to push on your back. Will you push on your side? So I was fine with pushing on my side. So I ended up pushing for 6 minutes. And then her head was born. And then my doctor said, reach down and grab her. So I was able to pull her out and laid her on my chest. And it was the best feeling in the world by far.
Oh, and there she is.
Yep.
I love it. I love that we could share these pictures. That's kind of why I wanted to do it on here. So I've got some of those pictures right there. Oh, the one is cut off. Darn it. Well, darn. Yeah, but oh, there you go. We can see it right there. Well, we can't see it right there, but on Instagram, you can see it. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Oh, I love it. Ashley, I'm glad you're here. So beautiful, right? You know what I love, what stands out to me so much, and what I love about my students that makes me just like, I'm tearing up. What I love so much that you guys, what I'm able to give to you guys and that you take away is not that you go in there like these hellcats that just get what you want, because I teach you guys that you don't refuse just because you can, but you have rights and you use them wisely. Like you don't refuse unsafely. Like you have open conversations, you talk to your providers, you listen to them, you respect their knowledge, but you know when and why.
Yeah.
And I love that your doctor talked to you and said, I know you don't want to push on your back, but, and then you listened and you worked together.
Yeah.
That's what I love. And you had an incredible birth. It's just,
sure.
It's amazing. Like, and it was like exactly redemptive.
Oh, yeah. I felt it was very healing too from my first birth, like redemptive and healing. And yeah.
And how has your postpartum been?
It's been good. The healing process has been a lot better, just physically also. My bleeding was very minimal, like it didn't tear very much. It was much easier and much better compared to my first birth.
Are we going to have another L&M baby?
No. I think
darn it.
No, I'm actually sad about that because I loved giving birth so much. But
yeah. That's my problem too. I love being pregnant and I love giving birth. Like I love being pregnant. No, I love both parts. It's terrible. Well, I'm so happy. So one of the questions that there's a couple questions. So one of the questions that I wanted to ask was what do you feel has been like your biggest takeaway from the community and the postpartum community? Have you've been coming to the postpartum hangouts, right?
Yeah, some.
And so what have you felt like as far as the postpartum hangouts?
I think just not feeling alone, just to have a group of women that are going through what you're going through is really helpful. And everybody is just so kind and open and shares that it just feels like a really safe place.
Yeah. So I feel like everybody's so transparent. I love it. And so genuine. It's just so beautiful. Okay. So what is your one word that you felt from after taking the classes? This is my favorite question.
I would say empowered. I felt very empowered.
That is the most common word. That it's whenever I hear a different word, like I've been marking the words down, but empowered is the most common word. So I love that. Well, I am so honored that we got to play a part in your birth story. And it's such a beautiful story. And I'm so proud of you.
Oh,
I
thank
love
you.
it. One of my favorite parts of your story is when your nurse wanted you to get in bed and you were like, okay, but I'm staying on my hands and knees.
Yeah.
I love that part. Like I remember when LeNay was kind of updating us when you were in labor, you know, even though you didn't have a labor bat signal going, we had a private one going. So we kind of knew what was happening. So we were checking in on you. So we were really happy and proud of you.
Well, thank you so much for everything. I can't thank you all enough.
You're welcome. Well, thank you for sharing your story today. And I hope all of you guys enjoyed hearing it. It's so powerful. And you guys are all capable of having a beautiful, unmedicated induction. I've done 3 unmedicated induction, and I am such a wuss when it comes to other types of pain. So this labor pain is just different. It's incredible. Well, thank you, Megan. And thank you guys. Remember, you guys, the classes are on sale for 24 more hours. So use your code Birth Queen to get $100 off for the class and the 3 bonus classes and 30 days in Calm Mama Society, where you'll get your labor bat signal and your virtual labor support and your weekly workshops and your weekly hangouts. Okay, you guys have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks.